Well, we'll continue investigating the role of instructional materials for language curriculum design. And in this connection, we have already seen instructional materials and their pedagogical significance, to what extent they can be implemented in the classroom. And one of the important elements to be understood is how, to what extent pre-planned materials can offer a useful source of input for both language teachers and learners, whether they are really helpful or not, whether they impede the language teaching and learning process or they facilitate it. So just bear in mind, we are talking about commercial textbooks. As you know, like commercial textbooks are flourishing, despite their limitations. And one of the examples of looking at commercial textbooks is Oxford University Press series, publishing a series of textbooks from stage 1 onwards, and which they are being used in most of our English medium schools, right? So do these textbooks actually are adequate enough to meet the needs of the students, or they are useful for teachers to enhance language learning, right? So the predicament, and this is one of the criticism leveled against this type of commercial textbooks, is they tend to overlook the changing sensitivities of language learners. And so since we have already taken a good look at how commercial textbooks are seen a contentious issue, and in this regard we talked about Prabhu's observation, we talked about Albright, and we'll continue that this is posing a problem, and this has been a topic of continuous debate amongst SLA researchers and language curriculum planner researchers. Why it's being so much criticized, and why we need to become aware of the purposes of commercial textbooks. One of the criticism is they are restrictive in nature, since they limit the role of the teacher as a as sort of accepting the guidelines and just using them. Okay. So on the basis of this criticism, the instructional materials are seen to be as an impediment or as an obstacle towards enhancing the language learning process in the classroom. Why they are criticized? Secondly, they are, since they are out there in the market and they could be easily accessed, and so they are publicly accountable. It's easy to assess, evaluate. You could pick up a book, go for its contents, see how the language is presented and what format is being adopted. So it's quite easy as compared to the created materials. And it's not clear so far, their exact role in the classroom, the commercial textbooks and their exact roles in the classroom. On the other hand, the published materials, for example, the textbooks used in the government schools, if we look at the Punjab textbook books, especially from grade 1 to grade 12, they contain certain stages from grade 1 to grade 12. On the other hand, the commercial materials are prepared in a different context, and they are being used in a different country. So this is how they could be a problem for both teachers and students. And this is why, as language planners, while making decisions about, for a language program, whether we need to have published materials or, commercial textbooks, And this is why they are seen from a deficient point of view, since they don't meet the changing needs of the students, and they tend to become problematic for teachers and learners. So in summary, so far we have seen how pre-planned materials are being judged all over the world and their usefulness. So personally, I believe that we need to be a bit, although we've got criticism against, the use of pre-planned materials or the commercial textbooks. Well, we can become innovative while we can take up which we could take up, choose materials which are suitable for our learners, and we could omit them. And this is what the role of a skillful language teacher is.